Hi, I'm Frank Fusaro, and I have the privilege of being on the board of an amazing organization, Tunnel to Towers. There is a nonprofit organization, charity for vets, which vets the different charities, and there are thousands of veteran organizations, charities for veterans, and we're highly recommended by them. And of all the thousands of organizations that were started, nonprofits to help veterans, I only know of one whose annual revenues exceed $500 million, and only one that gives over 91% of that $500 million goes directly to the programs aiding veterans. And those programs, Tunnel to Towers, has given over 1,000 mortgage-free homes to catastrophically injured veterans and first responders, police, fire, EMS, across the whole United States. If a first responder loses his life or her life on duty, they'll go in and they'll sit down with the surviving family and either pay their mortgage off or build them a home, mortgage-free home. And that's for the catastrophically injured veterans and for the first responders. And I only know one charity where they made a commitment to eradicate veteran homelessness, which is a plague in this country. They estimated there were 40 to 50,000 veterans on the streets, and Tunnel to Towers, last count, has taken 20,000 of those vets off the streets, an amazing 8,000 plus children that were living with those vets. So it's this country that has so much money to take care of illegal people across our borders. It's absolutely amazing. They don't have the money to do the right thing with these veterans and getting them off the streets and getting those children off the streets. Well, Tunnel to Towers has done that, and they're committed to eradicating that veteran homelessness. And these homeless vets, you can't just put them in a apartment or a room or give them a home and so on. They need tremendous amount of care, and a Tunnel to Towers employee, a counselor, is in touch with every one of those vets. So you don't just put them in a home and leave them. You got to help them along. So that's another one of their programs. So I'd ask for your help. My son Chris and I were celebrating our 50th anniversary of our firm, and we thought about having a black tie affair or a big party or something, and we decided no. We got involved, sat down with Frank Siller, who's it's really his leadership that made this organization. He and the Siller family made this organization what it is, and they have to be commended. It's just amazing. At any rate, we sat down with Frank, and I didn't know what we could do. Maybe raise, we got a little buddy here, maybe raise, I don't know, $300,000. Due to the generosity, and I'd like to call out to some of our major donors, we've now exceeded $5.4 million, which is now funding 3 catastrophically injured veterans, and the balance is going to the Veteran Homeless Program at this point. So we're blessed to have friends like this, and I'd like to first thank American Express and Steve Squeary for their generosity. We have Chris Loyacona and my friends at the Columbus Citizens Foundation, the big donors, Bob McKillop, and all the members at Ridgewood Country Club that helped us out. I'd like to shout out to Shell and Terry Weiss, very large donors. We had 2 very significant donors, the Alessi family, Vincent Alessi and his family, and I had an anonymous donation by a member of the Ridgewood Country Club who wanted to remain anonymous, and they're funding a home for a veteran in New Mexico that we'll be talking to soon. At any rate, in addition to that, we had Maria Bartiromo from Fox News, and Anthony and Joseph Marino, and Chris Pompeo from Century 21, Jerry Danino and his wife Lisa, and there's so many others, and I probably shouldn't be naming them because I'll probably forget some of them, but we're here to talk to a real patriot, and I consider American hero, Bill Cooper. He's right here. And Bill, let me ask you a couple of questions, okay? First of all, what was your motivation for joining the military? Tell us something about your background, your life, and that motivation.
Sure. So I come from a military family, had both grandfathers serve in the military, and then also had numerous uncles also serve in the military. And if you wanted to sit at the big boy table, you had to serve in the military. So first started with junior ROTC. My sister and I were both high ranking in junior ROTC in high school. She was a lieutenant commander and I was a command sergeant major in junior ROTC. After that, I went on to play college football at Wesley College, and then 9/11 happened while I was at college. I distinctly remember that day. We were coming back from morning workout program for the wide receiver group, and we saw that event happen, tragic event happen on 9/11, and my life was altered that day, and I knew I had to make the ultimate choice by signing my name on the dotted line and doing whatever I could in order to protect this country and making sure that our freedom was safe. So I was a small part of that, just like men before me and men after me will be. And then, so my motivation was to protect this country and take the fight to where it needed to be, and that was overseas.
Now, Bill, you got, on the day you were supposed to be coming back from Iraq, you got banged up pretty good.
I did.
Tell me something about the injuries, and you suffered over 81 operations?
81 operations, yes. Not all at once. It was over, it felt like I kept getting injured over and over and over again after December 15th, 2005. December 15th, 2005, I was, me and 4 others were injured by an IED that was daisy chained together, direct hit to our Humvee. It flipped our Humvee 15 feet up in the air, disintegrated the whole entire front of the Humvee. We had Joseph A. Lucas die. He was our gunner. We had another member, Staff Sergeant Ducksworth. He was blown out of the vehicle, lost his right eye or left eye, and broke his left leg. And then we had Nick Atchison, Specialist Nick Atchison, was traumatic brain injury and lacerations to his body. And then for myself, I had multiple injuries to my whole right side of my body, my arm, my leg, my thigh, my pelvis, this arm, and it was pretty catastrophic. It was a night that I'll never forget, due to the fact that like my comrades helped save my life, and I'm here today thankfully for them.
Now, you told me about what they did for you from that point when you got injured until they got you to the proper medical treatment.
Yeah. So basically, you know, I was injured. They had to pull me out of the vehicle. They had to break my left arm in order to get me out of that vehicle. I was upside down. I was on fire. And they realized how bad my injuries were. My arm was hanging on by a piece of skin. My leg was hanging on just by the threads of like what was left over. And so basically they cut all my clothes off and then started Casevac and stopped the bleeding. Actually had 13 blood transfusions to keep me alive after that event. But when they were putting me on the bird, they actually were saying their goodbyes. They thought that I was dead on arrival, going to the cache.
Now, it's amazing, and this is an all-volunteer army, okay? All volunteer service. No one's getting drafted these days, thank God. So, but we have that. Imagine we have people like Bill that are willing to make the sacrifice and deal with a life of deprivation when you're out in the field and so on and so forth, away from home. God bless people like you, Bill. It's an amazing story. Now, Tunnel to Towers, in your case, Normally they build a home for a catastrophically injured veteran, but you chose to stay in this house, and they paid the mortgage off, Bill's mortgage, and now they're going to turn this house into, provide Bill every amenity that he needs and rebuild the house so he can remain in this location. So, what was your feeling when Tunnel to Towers called you?
Overwhelming. I had to sort of pinch myself to see if I was still awake or alive. At first you think it's a prank call and you're just like, no way. It happened so fast too. It was like the application, from start of application to hearing that someone was going to pay off our house, Tunnel to Towers was going to pay off our house. I think it was 3 weeks. It was like, no way. This can't be real. It's life altering. It changes every choice that you make going forward. We have 2 small children, one 16 and one 12. Gosh, their lives are going to be changed forever. We get to put that money away to education, to their future, to investments, and to make sure that their children are going to be taken care of. And it's a huge relief. For the first time since my days of service, it's like someone's watching out for me, and someone's watching out for my family. And I'm truly appreciative of that. I think, what Tunnels to Towers is doing is absolutely amazing, and what they're doing for homeless veterans and what they're doing for police and firemen, and making sure that their homes are taken care of and the children of those individuals are taken care of is absolutely amazing. And honestly, I never thought that I would say I'm lucky, but I'm lucky to have Tunnel to Towers on my side.
Well, not as lucky as we ought to have you and all the other thousands of like you that served, honorably and volunteered to do that. It's all volunteer service. One thing that I neglected to mention was that Bill's 2 children are going to get a full scholarship, room and board, tuition, etc. Every person, this was announced in an amazing event in Orlando a few months ago, where recognizing the 25th anniversary of Tunnel to Towers, Frank Silla brought in 5,300 people, catastrophically wounded people, children of the catastrophically wounded, children of the first responders who lost their lives, 5,300 people into Orlando. Day at Universal Studios. Next day they had a tremendous picnic concert kind of thing, and he announced, Frank did, in honor of his parents, that every child that requires going to college or trade school will get a full scholarship, tuition, room and board, books, etc. from Tunnel to Towers. When he announced that at our board meeting, we just scratched our head and said, where's the money going to come from? And that's Frank's attitude is, we'll find the money to do that, because these people deserve it. This is what the government should be doing for them. It's up to people like Tunnel to Towers and generous donors to do that. So again, on behalf of Tunnel to Towers, I want you to know that this is not just a gift. You earn this with your service and sacrifice. And this and everything else that comes to you for that sacrifice is earned. So I don't think it's a gift. So God bless you, and
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
I can't thank you enough for your service.